This is a good day for America.
On KDAWN.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
All right, good morning, Las Vegas. Welcome to the Mark Hoke Show. We are thrilled to have you joining us. All you Hokamaniacs out there, we love ya. Thanks for being on KDAWN with us. Of course, 101.5 FM and the Odyssey app. Download it if you haven't. You get to listen to all sorts of great shows, including mine. Certainly appreciate that. And we are also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Just look, I still say Twitter. I can't get used to it. X. But just look up the Mark Hoke Show, and X is at Mark Hoke Show. And join in the fun. We are going to have a great time today talking pro wrestling, and I'm not even going to waste time. I can't do it. I got to bring in my good pal. Fortunately, nothing bad's happened to him. He's recovering from that knee surgery. He's a little bit crazy. So I had to, give him something to do while he was sitting around the house. The president of wrestling, of course, big man over there, Pro Wrestling Revolver, and does he does the best report on independent wrestling in the country, period. End of story. Let's welcome in at Trust and Phil Stamper. Phil, what's going on, my friend?
Thank you, sir. That was an awesome introduction. I appreciate it. How are you?
I'm conscious.
Is there a reason you shouldn't be?
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. Working for those that don't know, of course, I don't just do this show. I produce 2 shows during the week. I produce the Steve Sanchez show, which is a political show, and then I also produce Sports X Radio. Sanchez on 3 to 6, and then Sports X 6 to 8. Needless to say, with some events in the world this week, it was a little busy.
There was news this week?
There was news this week. Just a tad. So I'm conscious, and I'm here, and I'm ready to roll. So we're going to have a great time talking pro wrestling with everybody today. But hey, hop into that chat box on whatever social media you want. YouTube's the easiest one. We'd love to have you subscribe there, because we would love to get your thoughts on everything that's going on. What an incredible time in pro wrestling right now. So come join us and let Phil and I know what you think throughout these next 2 hours, because, the pay-per-views just keep on coming, Phil.
Yeah.
They don't stop. And we had another big one last night. One of TNA's most successful ones. I can't wait to see what the buys were on this, because this was a pretty incredible card and an amazing night for them. Boy, we even had an Earl Hebner sighting.
When I saw, because I heard a little scuttlebutt before they went on air that he was there, and I was like, oh no, what are they going to do? One, can Earl Hebner get it into the ring? That was my first concern. And he could. Very able to go. But then to actually see him there was very interesting, because again, you still didn't know what was going to happen per se, and just loved every moment with him.
Yeah, this was a pretty wild night at TNA Slammiversary. Maybe not the result that everybody was expecting in the main event, but one that I'm still satisfied with, and that's kind of where I wanted to start the show out today. We're going to be talking about that. A crazy week on Dynamite with AEW and some other news coming out of SummerSlam as we're getting ready for that in just a couple of weeks. Good Lord, it's just never stopping, Phil. It's just amazing. But Slammiversary last night, titles changing hands all over the place. We had our friend NJ Holiday on the show a few weeks ago saying, nothing ever happens until Bound for Glory. Nothing ever happens. Well, there you go.
There was a lot of things that happened.
Man.
it felt like every other segment had like a major change to the dynamic that is TNA.
Yeah, this was just from start to finish a wild night, and I'm just pulling my results page up here real quick, so please bear with me. There we go. But unfortunately, travel plans disrupted a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. I know some other cards got devastated. Like the GCW card got just smashed because of travel issues from the Cloud Strike, which messed us up here too at the station, by the way. That was fun. But we had Matt Hardy, and you had to wonder if the Hardys were slated to win those tag team titles last night, because good friend of the show Chris Bay and Ace Austin ended up winning those tag titles off the system. So I'm curious, do you think I think the Hardys were going to be the ones to get those belts last night, and they just called an audible?
So the verbiage again, this is all conjecture when I say any of this, because there are people who reach out to me like, well, all these people at TNA and ... I'm like, no. Nobody has told me anything. I keep that distance. But I heard, Thursday night after they aired this segment where Jeff Hardy gets injured on air, that was because Jeff can't go to Canada.
Right.
Because of some previous concerns about his criminal background. Okay, so then they had to. I don't think they called an audible. I do think this was planned. Maybe they didn't know then with everything else that then ended up happening, who was going to end up exactly where they were. But now you have brand new TNA Tag Team Champions.
Yep, they are now 3-time champs. ABC is back all on top. Gosh, I'm gonna text Chris Bay and tell him he's getting a little greedy over there, winning all these belts. I know he wants more though, but a big tag team title win there, and the system got more decimated in the main event. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I'm not sure how I feel about this, because AJ Francis has been doing some incredible work over there in TNA ever since he got dropped out of WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And was the digital media champion, and he also had purchased the Canadian International Heavyweight Championship, which I looked up the history on. That belt hasn't been active since the 80s. So good for him.
Right.
It's just interesting idea to revive that. They had that in a taping about a month ago. But PCO knocks him off. And I'm wondering, I mean, it was in Montreal, PCO's Canadian International title, so on and so forth. But I'm almost sad to see him lose that title.
He really had a good run with it, but you know what? I feel like they are ripe for a lot of change. Into what final direction, I don't know. And that's kind of what I like about pro wrestling, is sometimes you don't know what that final picture is, and wrestling doesn't really ever have a final picture. It's the next picture. And so where are they going to go from here? What happens to be next? There was a lot of talk about, could this have been Joe Hendry's night? Everybody believes in Joe Hendry.
Oh, absolutely.
And could it have been him? Yeah, there was talk. I remember yesterday morning I was seeing talk online about, we know it's going to be Josh Alexander, so that way they can do a Josh Alexander versus Ethan Page champion versus champion opportunity. In my brain, I was like, I don't know if they'll go that far, but that could have been. So I think there was a lot of play in the directions they could have gone with, and I'm not opposed to Nick Nemeth being the TNA champion. But I do think Moose had his time. I think, okay, now it's time to refresh and change. And I am curious now what that does mean for Bound for Glory, because there was also no announcements about anything coming for Bound for Glory.
Yeah. Two more title changes. One you mentioned there, we'll get to breaking that down a little more in a sec. Mustafa Ali loses the X Division title as his first loss in TNA. To Speedball Mike Bailey, so another Canadian picks up a title up there. But as we mentioned, they pull out Earl Hebner. You get a referee knocked out, and Earl Hebner is brought in by Ali to try and pull a screw job on Mike Bailey. The crowd is going insane as they're getting ready to, as Ali puts him in a sharpshooter, but Hebner redeems himself in the eyes of the Montreal fans, doesn't do it, and Mike Bailey wins the X Division title. So the reign of Ali is over as well. But that was what a clever move somebody back there was thinking, and of course the TNA creative team just got turned over pretty heavily, but that was something else. What a decision to make a play like that.
I think, yeah, just fun. And again, just the talk about it was getting so much attention that everyone was expecting it. So to just turn it in that other direction, I think is great.
Yeah. And then, of course, we get the main event, that 6-man match for the elimination match for the world championship. And, everybody, I think, was thinking this is Joe Hendry's night. It's Joe Hendry's night. And it kind of was Joe Hendry's night. Kind of.
Yeah.
Of course, he ends up being the one to knock Moose out early in the match. So we have a new world champion coming. But then Josh Alexander just tears into him, knocks him out. And just like that, Joe Hendry is out of there midway through this match. And it ends up going down to Nick Nemeth and Frankie Kazarian. And Nick Nemeth, who, I think a lot of us was expecting to have won the title here in Las Vegas back in April, is now the TNA world champion. And you don't get Joe Hendry, but you get a great story with Nick winning the TNA world title after just being lost in the shuffle in WWE for so long. And, we had him here in the studio, and I got to talk to him even a couple days before that. Just a great guy, and I can't be happier for him. What a redemption story for Nick Nemeth.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel, it was coming for him. I felt like the championship was going to be his at some point. So to have it be realized now, I think is great.
Yeah. And, it just goes to show that sometimes you got to have a little patience in pro wrestling. You can't just knee jerk react. And, look,
but I want it now.
Yeah. And I will admit, I was one of those people that I wanted Nick to win. And it's nothing against Moose. Moose is a great guy. I think he's terrific in the ring. But geez, I wanted Nick to win that night over here in Las Vegas so bad. And it didn't happen. I was so surprised. I mean, the whole they did such a massive publicity tour around Las Vegas, and it was just a shocker to not see him win. Yeah. But they saved it, and they saved it for a huge crowd up in Montreal. And we've got a Nemeth running around with a world title again. So your feelings just for TNA now coming out of this, because obviously massive turnover of champions. The system is decimated. Obviously, there's only one person in the group with the championship, and that's Alicia Edwards as one half of the Knockouts champions. So now, what are you thinking, Phil? This is a pretty seminal moment for TNA with 4,000 people in the building and a lot of buzz. I mean, people are going to be talking about this for a while.
Change has been coming for TNA, and even before the departure of Scott D'Amore and other members of their administration, it felt like, okay, something's coming. And even more so than when they left, that it was like, all right, now I feel like they have to. And so as they get ready for Bound for Glory, that, like you said, everybody sort of said the big things happen at Bound for Glory. So now they've made these changes. So what is the direction they're going to take? And there were so many sort of last second changes. Okay, are they going to redirect? Are they going to change some things? Was this to get people talking? So now for Bound for Glory makes it more interesting because so many things appear to be in flux. It makes me excited for what is going to happen next. Plus, we haven't even touched on yet the whole TNA NXT crossover and what could be happening next. Are we going to see more from that as we get ready for Bound for Glory? So I think there's a lot of interest in what is happening next, and people are paying attention.
Yeah, this is very exciting for TNA, and the industry needs this. And we have two very strong companies, but having a good third one there too sure isn't going to hurt. And been kind of waiting for TNA to start to have that breakout moment again, where they got back on track, and having a night like this. And I had friends that were up there last night, and just seeing how excited that crowd was, and seeing that they, got out of what has been kind of a very steady mode of things, and being willing to do some things differently kind of makes you feel pretty good about the future of the company after all the upheaval. So this is pretty cool stuff out of TNA. But now, Phil, we got to take a break and think about Joe Hendry. And actually, I wanted to touch on the topic you wanted to talk about, mentioned there too, about, what's this crossover going to do? Where do they take this from here?
Mm-hmm.
Bound for Glory's coming up, and I'm wondering who's going to make the moves, who we're going to see going over to NXT, who's going to be coming over and paying a little visit to TNA. Oh, I love it. I love it, Phil.
Yeah. It's exciting.
Oh, this is great. And we haven't even talked about what's going on in AEW and WWE yet either. So, a lot of fun. This is unbelievable time to be a pro wrestling fan. Thanks for being with us on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, Talk of Las Vegas. Phil Stamper along with me. We will be right back.
Tune in to Real Estate Live with the Real Estate Guys, Aaron and Jacob Taylor. We're keeping it real, we're keeping it current, and we're keeping it fun. Las Vegas' #1 real estate show. Catch us every Saturday at 3 p.m. on 101.5.
The Real Estate Guy. Keep it twisted all year long with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Twisted Tea is real iced tea that packs a punch with 5% alcohol. Tastes great at the beach, the mountains, or even in your backyard. Look for the bright yellow Twisted Tea cans. Twisted Tea Brewery Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 tests under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
They say health is wealth, and I could not agree more. That's why if you or somebody in your life is living with everyday aches and pains, I want to tell you about Relief Factor. And I'm telling you, I can feel the difference. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. Naturally. Now that's a big deal. Developed by doctors. Relief Factor's unique formula of ingredients all work together to help support your body's response to inflammation. Instead of masking pain for a couple of hours, Relief Factor actually helps reduce or even eliminate your pain for good. Whether it's neck, back, joint, or muscle pain, if you're looking to feel better, live better, give Relief Factor a try. In 3 weeks, you will know if it's working because you'll feel it. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Save on your first order. Don't let pain tell you how to live. Fight back naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Do you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes? Good news. There's a new way out. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative. Call U.S. Tax Shield, A+ rated with the BBB. 800-391-5063 for your free consultation and let U.S. Tax Shield protect you from the IRS.
Understanding the many things in a mother's life affecting her pregnancy is important. You can help improve the health of all mothers and babies in Nevada by completing a Pregnancy Risk Assessment Monitoring System survey about your recent pregnancy. Also known as PRAMS, the survey is from the Nevada Division of Public and Behavioral Health and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The survey asks new moms about their experience before, during, and after pregnancy. Responses are confidential and used to help improve the health of mothers and babies in Nevada. If you receive a PRAMS survey, please share your story. Learn more at nvprams.dpbh.nv.gov. That's nvprams.dpbh.nv.gov. This message, sponsored by the Nevada Division of Public and Behavioral Health, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
101.5 FM KDAWN. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
Yeah, that's me. How you doing, everybody? Good morning, Las Vegas. We are having a great time talking pro wrestling on KDAWN's top-rated live show, and we just keep it rolling. Getting ready for our 3-year anniversary coming up.
Woo.
Doing this show. God, it feels like it's been longer than that, but the time just flying by. It's unbelievable. But keeping it going here, and we appreciate every one of you that's listening to us. And, if you're downloading the podcast at markhokeshow.podbean.com or checking out the live stream or all the clips on at the Mark Hoke Show on YouTube. We really do appreciate it. It means the world to me and everybody that comes on the show, and all our regulars like Phil Stamper, who is just a magnificent human being. He's going to be the $6 million man. Did they put any metal in that thing or just stitch you up, Phil?
They did. They're so now I'll have semi-matching knees because my other knee also has metal in it. My neck has metal in it. I'm slowly becoming a cyborg. It's
fantastic. Great. That's great. So now fights are even better. Atomic knee smashes, man.
Ooh, that'd be awesome. I have to pull down the knee sleeve to like hit somebody with the knee. It works. It totally works.
That's amazing. And you have to call it an atomic knee smash. Take that back to the 70s, man.
I love it.
Just cycle it through. Well, we're very happy to have Phil on. And now I wanted to talk a little bit of, obviously we have Joe Hendry did not win the world championship last night.
Right.
But, he's still doing okay. He gets a big win. He's the one that knocked Moose out of that match last night. So he beat the world champion. A lot of love on NXT.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, he even had a clip that I hadn't seen. You probably knew about Northtown Wrestling. I never heard of him, but of course Phil does this incredible calendar and just knows every independent promotion I think on the planet. I swear to God.
I'm trying.
So you have to, if you love independent wrestling, you need to follow him at Trust and Phil, because you're not going to believe what you'll see. If you want to check out independent wrestling anywhere, from Poughkeepsie to El Paso, you'll find it. But he smashed Elijah. Remember Elias? Well, he's Elijah, and did this funny piece where he did a song where he took his job, and I just about died laughing for an hour when I saw that. I couldn't stop watching it. But the future is still pretty bright for Joe Hendry. I don't think any of his fans should be crushed that he didn't win this match last night, even though I think a lot of people expected he would. Phil, what do you think the future is for Joe Hendry? Is this going to be, now are we getting serious in TNA, or maybe there's something bigger coming for him in WWE? What's your gut telling you about where the direction for Joe Hendry?
Well, I've had that same question. Is this sort of just a preface before? When I say this, I have no idea when his contract's up with TNA. Is this just an opportunity for him to then go back later to WWE, to NXT? And if it is, that's great. I think it's only going to be great for him. But in wrestling, it's sort of like, well, what are you doing for me now? And so I do wonder, what is that next sort of evolution of a Joe Hendry? Does he become more like an Elias? Does he modify it a little bit? Because now you're seeing fans come to events dressed like Joe Hendry.
Mm-hmm.
There was 3 people in the front row that had like blonde wigs on last night to dress up as Joe Hendry. So is that the direction now that they want to go? I think that would be awesome. If it's sort of like the Cult of Joe Hendry. Oh my gosh, what if he does a ripoff of Cult of Personality?
Could you imagine a feud with him and CM Punk?
I mean, it would get a lot of noise.
Oh, that would be ridiculous. But I think the one thing that is going to be very interesting to follow with him is he going to, while still doing this comedy stuff and the songs and, tearing people apart, is he going to still go down the road as being a serious contender to championships? Or are they going to kind of keep him in that lane, where he's, maybe a high mid-card guy torturing people, but as a stepping stone? Now, beating Moose is a big deal, but now you got him smashed right between Josh Alexander last night, who decked him, and Moose, who he beat in TNA. So obviously that is a huge place to be in TNA between those two guys, plus everything going on NXT too. So this is going to be a tricky spot for Joe. Where do you want to land when this is all over? Because the goal, I would think, is, I want to be a world champion.
Yeah.
It's great that I can do funny songs and make people laugh, but is that what you really want to do in this business? You're going to get paid for it, no doubt, but is that where the end result is going to be for Joe Henry.
Well, remember, a lot of this impetus is, this is a song now that's 4 or 5 years old that then he put out there and was like, I'm gonna believe in myself and put this out there and try to get it trending, and really did this great push, and it was so successful. So does he do it again? Is he a one hit wonder? Can he then capitalize and do whatever the next thing is? There's sort of constant evolution inside of the world of professional wrestling. And so he has to find whatever that next thing is to be able to capitalize on it, or is he just going to be, he's just the song and dance man for this one time, this one moment in time, and we'll all forget about him in 6 months.
Yeah.
And that's sad. I don't want that.
Yeah, I don't either. Where would you say he is in ring? Because everybody talks about all this other stuff around him, but if you had a scale of 1 to 10, where would you put Joe Henry in the ring right now?
Oh, that's so hard. I'm gonna say a 7, like kind of what you said. That he's in the mid card right. Sort of right now. The gimmick is not necessarily a main event gimmick per se. And this is just me talking. For instance, I think there's a story to be developed there where it's, I got everybody to like me and follow me, but now I'm gonna screw all the fans out of what they really want, so I get what I want, and then take it another manipulative way, perhaps. If he does succeed in becoming a champion and getting gold somewhere.
Yeah, and the person that I thought of when I was kind of going through this in my head was, and I hate to, Matt Cardona. He took it, obviously had gotten fired, came back and went out on the indies and totally changed his image. And, he's still not in a major company, but he's doing great with what he's doing. But he's still at that spot. And you kind of wonder if Matt would like to be doing more deep down in his heart.
Yeah.
And you wonder if Joe Henry could end up following that same route. Gonna make the money, but where do you want this to finish up? So this is gonna be fascinating to see the road for Joe Henry as we keep it going. And of course the crossover with TNA and NXT, a lot coming with that too. And we had a little debate last week on the show with Matt Black about where is TNA actually going to completely benefit from this, or is WWE just going to raid their talent? Do you think that this is look, I saw the little grin on your face, by the way. That was funny. Do you think that this is overall going to be beneficial for WWE or for TNA to be working with WWE, or you think maybe this could be kind of a ploy to steal some people away?
Maybe a little of column A and a little of column B. I mean, I do feel this. There's nothing but a successful opportunity that TNA could take with this. That the fact that they're having NXT talent appear on their shows, that's going to bring over more of that audience into watching TNA. The biggest thing that TNA has against them is where they're placed in their television market. They don't have a big audience on Access TV. So I feel bad for that. But this is nothing but positive for TNA. For NXT, well, look who they got. The first go round, here's Joe Hendry, who has already been in that system. Second go round, they bring in Zachary Wentz and Trey Miguel. Zach's already been in that system. So they're bringing in people too that they also have familiarity with. So could it turn around and perhaps, hey, we want to extend you a contract to come over to NXT to WWE? Why not? And I think if that happens, I think it's great. I think it's great for everybody, to be very honest. I hope it ends up being great for everybody.
Yeah, it's getting interesting when you're seeing more and more the world of pro wrestling is tightening up. And there's so many crossovers going on. And, we saw one of the Japanese stars at WWE last night, and they're starting to reach out more and more that way. And, Julie is coming in, and AEW obviously just will promote anything with anybody. And, we've got so much joint promotions and things going on like that. It's fascinating to see how much it used to be you were here, and no, you're in your little house and we don't look at the neighbors. And now all the neighbors are starting to have barbecues and block parties. It's amazing. It's amazing to watch. And I think everybody's benefiting from it.
And I apologize because first I said, "Oh, it started with Joe Hendry." It didn't start with Joe Hendry. It started with Jordan Grace.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. And I think she would be perfect in the NXT WWE model, if that's the direction they go, and if that's the direction she wants to go. I think that could be great. Let's see. You know, time's going to tell. Like we just said earlier, we don't know the final story. We don't know what the next version of the story is going to evolve into. Let it breathe for a moment, and let's see what happens next.
I cannot wait. I can't wait for the first really big name to pop up on TNA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would love to see a Drew McIntyre make a return, or an AJ Styles. I was actually talking to somebody about this last night, just out at a random conversation, that AJ Styles showing up in TNA again would be just, it would blow everybody's minds. They would go crazy if AJ wrestled a match for them, and you know, maybe at Bound for Glory, that would be a lot of fun. I couldn't imagine, you know, it'd be interesting to see who they pick, but you know, having AJ Styles show up over there as kind of an ode to TNA and his time there, I think it would be great. And that's the one thing that I haven't seen out of this crossover yet, that they haven't sent a big name over to TNA yet to help them out. So that when I see that, then I'll trust the relationship. Otherwise, I'm still kind of like, yeah, when's the shoe gonna drop? So,
well, from the WWE perspective, you know, they've done two kind of good things for them, and this is just from a business perspective. I'm not talking about better for the world of professional wrestling. Just what's been good for them is, so when AEW comes, they position, I hate to say it, their student show. They put the developmental brand, the NXT, up against AEW. So when you start thinking about AEW and its competition, you're not thinking AEW in the main roster of WWE. You're thinking AEW and NXT. So now they're doing this crossover with NXT and Impact. They're not crossing over the main WWE roster that you're seeing on Raw and SmackDown that have the much higher ratings. You're seeing NXT and Impact crossover, or excuse me, NXT and TNA. So I feel, and from the business side of WWE, they're keeping, quote, their guys. Where NXT, there's some room to grow on either side. And like you sort of said, if there was an opportunity to bring other people in from TNA and expand and offer them later a WWE contract, well, now you've already developed the fact that they're competent wrestlers and you've showcased them already on NXT.
Yeah, very interesting point there, Phil. You're brilliant.
I have moments.
Phil Stamper, what a guy. I'll tell you. Just gets the job done everywhere he goes. Even though I want to run against you sometime. I think it would be kind of fun.
Yeah, well, was that a pun, sir? Was that because I have a crutch on the wall behind me? Run, sir?
I did not think of that pun, but now that you said it, sure, I'll take it. Now, actually, I'll be your vice president, Phil.
There you go. I can do that.
I'll be your vice president until you stab me in the back. It's all good.
All
right, guys. Hey, let's take a break. And when we come back, let's get into that 1 hour marathon on Dynamite and everything that happened there. What a night that was, too. Amazing match. Will Ospreay and MJF getting it on. And we had some new trios champs this week. And a certain former WWE champion at the RNC. Wow. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back on the Mark Hoke Show.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
This is it. Shop the Lowe's Closeout event to get up to 70% off select major appliances for your home. Plus, get up to 60% off select patio furniture and accessories for your outdoor spaces. So hurry into your local store today because these deals are too good to last. Shop them now before they're gone because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/7 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
As you know, summertime is here. And for most people, that means more activities, more golf, more biking, more of whatever you love to do. But if you're dealing with minor aches and pains, your more could become less. This is why I'm here to tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. You see, instead of masking your pain, Relief Factor's formula is designed to help reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free, and it's been a game changer for so many people. So let's get after it this summer. Let's feel good. Let's do more of the things that we love to do. Don't let pain keep you down. Give Relief Factor a try and save on your first order. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
In Nevada, anything that goes into the storm drain goes directly to our local waterways, which can pollute Nevada's lakes and rivers. Nevada is the driest state in the nation, and we must work together to preserve our limited water resources for future generations of Nevadans. Here's some waterway wisdom so you can help do your part this summer. Wash your vehicle at a car wash or on grass or gravel. Avoid sprinkler runoff. Scoop your dog's poop, bag it, and discard it. Collect grass clippings and put them in the trash. And secure and pack out trash when recreating. Keep contaminants out of our storm drains. Use waterway wisdom. And remember, only rain should go into the storm drain. Join us in preserving Nevada's waters for future generations by visiting lovenvwaters.com and following us on social media. This message sponsored by the Nevada Department of Transportation, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
All right, let's talk some more pro wrestling. Back in the ring. Myself, Mark Hoke, and my tag team partner for the day, Phil Stamper at Trust and Phil on X. Follow him or you're a moron.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Just telling everybody the truth, man. You are the president of wrestling. It's very important. All right. So 250th episode of Dynamite gets highlighted with, well, I should kick things off and just kind of went from there, but a 59-minute, 58-second match for the AEW International Championship between Maxwell Jacob Friedman and Will Ospreay. And just when you thought this thing might be headed to a draw, Max pulls out his Dynamite Diamond ring, smacks Will in the face after he won't do the Tiger Driver, and we have a new AEW International Champion. Unbelievable match. Kind of a shocking finish, though, Phil. Were you surprised that MJF won the international title on Wednesday night?
I'm very mixed on it, to be very honest, because I think Will Ospreay was a great champion. This is not the last thing you're ever going to see of Will Ospreay. But, I kind of knew MJF was rising back up to something now that he's returned. So I'm not overly shocked that he got it either. What makes me feel bad is that I feel like AEW is legitimately trying to turn a corner. And we've been very critical when we've talked before on the show about AEW, their presentation, how they're doing, how they're reaching out to fans or not. And I feel like legitimately they are trying to turn around this corner. They had a great match. And how many people saw it? And that's the struggle that I'm having more of, is they've lost so much of that drive and energy for how they promote themselves. They need to do something else to kind of kick themselves a little bit more. Putting it back on MJF, people are excited and like MJF. I'm not saying they don't like Will Ospreay, but MJF, they've built into a name. So MJF is more synonymous with AEW than Will Ospreay is. So I think this is a good move in the right way for marketing. And now people will go, wait a minute, that match went an hour. They can go back and watch it. And so I think if anything, it might help put towards next week and see how they do in the ratings then.
Yeah, and they did draw a pretty good number. They had their best viewership for about 3 months now. Viewership went up to just about 800,000, had a 0.27 in the key demo. So, got a nice jump out of it. MJF doesn't hurt. And, this was, a really nice run for them. So we'll see what they do with it. I'm curious to see where both of these guys go from here now. MJF, you kind of more synonymous with the world championship, but, looking forward to probably him and Daniel Garcia. But still, you wonder, do you want to keep this feud going and somehow work Daniel Garcia into it? Is Ospreay going to find his way back to the world championship picture for All In? Pretty fascinating situation of where the booking is going to go for these two guys.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you have to have Will Ospreay for All In. So I don't think, again, he's not going anywhere. But I'm really curious as to what they're going to do next.
Yeah, and I do agree that AEW is turning a corner, and now with the roster just about back to health, and boy, it's just a shame that Adam Copeland's hurt going into All In. Because really that would have been kind of the last key in the puzzle, to the puzzle here on the men's side. We're still missing Jamie Hayter on the women's side, but that would have been great to have him for All In. But a nice win for MJF, and a fun ending there too. I kind of pulling out the oxygen tank, going back to that, and the whole deal. That guy is just unbelievable to watch. And now we got the blood and guts match, and of course we had Okada taking on Swerve Strickland for the world championship, ends in the DQ, and now we have those two teams set up for the blood and guts match, which, for those that don't know, that is a double steel cage match that will be taking place, a 5-on-5 battle, and these teams are loaded. I mean, this could be just an absolute war with the Elite and Hangman Adam Page. And I'm sorry, I don't have my rosters handy. Oh, that's terrible that I am totally blanking on. I had my article right here too. I have my list. There we go. So it is the Team AEW is the Acclaimed. We've got Mark Briscoe, Darby Allin, and Swerve Strickland. And then on the other side, it's Okada, the Bucks, Hangman Adam Page, and gosh, who am I missing? I'm missing somebody. That's terrible.
Okada and Jack Perry.
Yeah. So should be a lot of fun with this one coming up, and they lead right into this big show next week. So I would expect the ratings should be pretty good for this one too.
I hope so. I really hope they are driving more attention back to their product. And I get it. I get where they're at. They're struggling right now. Again, I hope they turn it around. It killed me when I would see some of the photos that people would take when it's against the more empty side of the arena. Because I'm like, this is a great match. Focus on the side that has the crowd.
Yeah.
And so I'm hopeful that this is the beginning of a great turnaround.
Yeah, and I've seen that too. I mean, obviously I've been to a bunch of AEW shows here in Las Vegas, and it was a little disheartening when you would see the hard cam side being emptied out. And it's frustrating because people are missing some great shows, but I feel good about where they're at right now. I feel like headed into All In so far. There's only 2 matches officially on the card, but you see where a lot of it's going. Yeah. But this Mariah May thing with Tony Storm has got everybody talking. People are excited about that. Bryan Danielson's going to be in the main event against Swerve, and the possibilities right now are just endless. So this is looking pretty good. I feel like AEW has gotten back in a good position. Just keep everybody healthy. And you guys out there, stop trying to do too crazy stuff right now. Save it for a pay-per-view and think about what you're doing before you do it. And let's keep this roster clean.
You have Darby Allin in this match. There's going to be insanity. Like you just know that something weird, wild, and wacky is going to happen.
Oh God, what's he going to do now? I remember I interviewed him a little while back when they were here for Collision and over Super Bowl weekend, and he explained his routine about how he recovers from all this. And it's just unreal how he takes care of his body. And then he just says, yeah, I'm good. I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm great. I'm like, you're nuts. You're nuts. But
well, I remember, when you had WWE versus ECW versus WCW, but I'm not talking about when they all came together under the WWE umbrella, when they were all separate entities. There was a lot more injuries because guys were like, I want to show that this is where I want to be. I want to showcase what I can do and what I can bring. So it gives me that next opportunity. And then once WWE sort of became the owner of everything, there was a message that was put out like, guys, calm down. You don't need to kill yourselves, because we're losing out. We're losing you on the roster. You're injured. You're hurting yourself and your own prospects. Like, calm down a little bit. Well, now I feel like you're seeing this other ramp up because now there's all these other opportunities, even to be able to not watch a WWE pay-per-view on Saturday night because there's such an awareness of independent wrestling that, we're losing some audience because of other streaming opportunities. IWTV, which is one of the largest wrestling streaming platforms out there, has more watchable minutes per month, more watched minutes per month than WWE content on Peacock. So it's interesting that just happens and that fans have found their way over to independent wrestling. I'm not saying that they're forgoing WWE or AEW or TNA, but the fact that there is just so much offering that's out there that people can dive into content-wise is just great. So there is a little bit of a need to like, let me wave my hand a little bit and go like, how can I bring a little bit more attention to our product?
do you find out on the independent circuit that performers are trying to do too much out there to get noticed?
I would say to a degree. I think in general terms, and this is not everybody, this is not every event, but I feel in independent wrestling, you see more of an athletic contest. I feel like you see more guys who are willing to try more stuff. There's the joke in wrestling that once you get up top in WWE, you develop your 5 moves of doom, and that's all you're kind of known for. And so here are people who are still testing the waters, finding out who they are, getting ready, or maybe they were on television and now are in another space and they're trying to like showcase, no, I still got it. I still look good and I can still do this. And maybe there's another opportunity for me with another company, but I have to show that I'm working towards it again. So I do feel like there is a more genuine effort in some cases. There are other cases that, don't get me wrong, there are some independent promotions out there that I wouldn't wish my worst enemy to watch. And that's why they only have 5 people in the crowd. But then there's others that come to a Revolver event and see 1,000 people in the crowd. Come to an MCW event and see 800 to 1,000 people in the crowd. Like, we will give you something because we have guys who are willing to showcase themselves and put themselves on the line in order to hopefully get more attention, so they are more known and get more attention to themselves and are used by these larger companies.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a huge story over the last few years that people have been able to get back out on that independent circuit, and they have found their way back. A guy like Raj Desi, of course, was Jinder Mahal, who made an appearance at GCW last night. That's another guy who I still don't understand why he's not with a major company, but he's repackaged himself. He's back out there, and I think he's going to do great. I really do. I think he'll draw on the indie circuit and maybe get somebody's attention. I'm still surprised he hasn't gone anywhere yet, but I believe he's going to be wrestling with Satnam Singh for the AAA tag team titles coming up too. How about that for a fun team? That'll be entertaining to watch.
That'll be very fun.
Yeah. So, the opportunities are out there for everybody. And even when you get knocked down, there's a chance to get back up. So, that's part of what the indies are all about too. So Phil Stamper out there keeping an eye on it.
I'm trying. I try to watch I try to see everything that's out there, try to watch as much as I can. I feel bad when I miss a company on a week on the calendar. And then, because I'll hear about it too. Oh, you didn't include me. What's wrong with you? Why didn't you put me in there?
Jeez.
I won't say who. I will say because there's a couple few people out there. There was somebody who was an executive. Oh, we'll talk later. We're going to commercial.
Don't give Phil crap, everybody. Come on. He's doing a really thankless job for that. All right. Hey, stick around. We've got a whole lot more coming up for hour number 2 of the Mark Hoke Show as we get ready for SummerSlam. 2 weeks away, the biggest party of the summer. And, it is shaping up to be a wild one. We don't even have half that card yet, and it's still looking insane. But are Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest getting left in the dust a little bit? I don't know. We're going to talk about it with Phil Stamper, plus friends of his, the Motor City Machine Guns. Are they WWE bound? It may be happening. Stick around, everybody. We will be right back with more on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN.
Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Summer is here, which means pool days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app, and never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Savings. Now that's speaking the Lowe's language. And when you join My Lowe's Rewards for free, the savings just keep coming. Save money with member-only offers, plus earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards, just for you. Because Lowe's knows you earned it, literally. Learn more about our loyalty program at lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards and become a member for free today. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See lowes.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
This message is sponsored by Adult Protective Services, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station. Unseen, unreported, and ignored, the abuse of vulnerable adults affects more people than you realize. Abandonment, abuse, neglect, exploitation, isolation. What you don't see hurts more. What they experience hurts every day. What they need is a voice. What they need is you. Help stop the abuse of vulnerable adults. Visit nevada211.org/APS or call 888-729
KMXP HD3 Henderson, K268CS Las Vegas. Always live on the free Odyssey app. 1015 FM KDAWN.
Report says extra protection was denied. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. The Secret Service director set to testify on Capitol Hill tomorrow on the attempted assassination of former President Trump. We are learning new details about the failures leading up to the shooting, including a report that says the Secret Service, in fact, did deny requests for more security at events.
I'm told by a federal source that whenever former President Donald Trump's security detail was denied more resources or manpower over the past 2 years, it's been because the Secret Service was stretched, quote, too thin. But now the agency itself is going on record to acknowledge what Trump's team has been saying for quite some time. An agency spokesperson writing in part, quote, in some instances where specific Secret Service specialized units or resources were not provided, the agency made modifications to ensure the security of the protectee. This may include utilizing state or local partners to provide specialized functions or otherwise identifying alternatives to reduce public exposure of a protectee.
It's Fox's CB Cotton in Butler, Pennsylvania. The former president holding his first rally post-assassination attempt last night in Michigan.
We will never stop working to deliver a magnificent future for our people, and together we will fight, right? And we will win.
The former president and his vice presidential pick, J.D. Vance, will be interviewed on Jesse Watters' Primetime tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Fox News Channel. American Airlines and its flight attendants union have reached a deal. The airline says the company and the Association of Professional Flight Attendants have agreed on a new contract which will give the flight attendants better compensation and improved work rules. Flight attendants at American have not had a raise since 2019. They had been threatening to strike if a new contract wasn't reached. America is listening to Fox News.
From the Fox News Podcast Network.
I'm Emily Campagno, and this is the Fox True Crime Podcast.
And I had nothing to do with her disappearance, but people still accuse me of it.
I sit down with the people who lived the nightmares.
I was in shock. I was just devastated.
The investigators who tirelessly worked on the case.
I feel for their families, and I really hope that they can catch this guy.
Bringing you closer to the story than you ever thought possible.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Get all of your favorite Fox News podcasts commercial-free on Apple Podcasts with Fox News Podcasts Plus. From Dana Perino, Kennedy, Ben Domenech, The Duffys, and many more. Subscribe now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com. The Fox News Rundown, a contrast of perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. Your daily dose of news twice a day, featuring insight from top newsmakers, reporters, and Fox News contributors. Listen and subscribe now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com.
Afternoons in Vegas are ruled by one radio show. It's the real, raw, and relevant talk found only on The Steve Sanchez Show. 3 to 6 p.m. on KDAWN, 101.5 FM, and on the Odyssey app.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
And we return to the Mark Hoke Show. I'm going to learn to speak English this hour and not lose my mind. Kids, it's been a long week. I'll tell you what. But thanks for joining us on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Best station in town. We love it. And of course, we are streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X, and on that Odyssey app. If you haven't downloaded the app, AUDACY, go get it. You don't need it now, but sometime down the road, maybe you want to listen to the show again or check out all of our great programming on KDAWN or, throughout the Odyssey family. We would certainly appreciate that. So just go into your app store and AUDACY, bam, done. You got it. And America is a greater place. That's just how it works. I'm Mark Hoke. Thanks for being with us. Phil Stamper joining us, of course, from PW Revolver, and does this great independent wrestling calendar and is just a hell of a terrific American. And of course, he is the president of wrestling. I still want to see the vote counts. Where are the ballots, Phil?
Oh, they're exactly where they need to be.
And hermetically sealed on Funkenweigel's porch, right?
There you go. Exactly.
Exactly. Well, we're very happy to have you along for the ride, Phil. Again, we love having you on the show. And of course, a lot happening in WWE as we get ready for SummerSlam. Before I get into SummerSlam, though, I did want to touch on one thing that's going on in there. And it is the most sympathetic group of psychopaths that we may ever see in pro wrestling, the Wyatt Six. Last week, we had a promo with Bo Dallas on his little videotape. And now we got one from Eric Rowan. And if you're not familiar with the Wyatt Six, of course, the ode to Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, who passed away. Bo Dallas is playing Uncle Howdy, brought that character back, which they were getting rolling before Bray passed away. And then it's Nikki Cross, Eric Rowan, Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy. We're still waiting for a sixth person. Don't know if it's going to be Alexa Bliss for sure, but I had an idea. I'll talk about that after we get through this. But of course, they decided to beat up Chad Gable again. But the promo that they cut with Eric Rowan this week, did that make you cry, Phil? Did that get a tear in your eye? Just a little.
I mean,
because Eric, of course, is talking about how he lost Brody Lee and then how he lost Wyndham Rotunda. And just, that's so gut wrenching to hear that. And you had Bo Dallas doing his, where he was talking about losing his brother. How are you going to hate these guys? I mean, no matter what they do. And you're going to hear some stuff from Nikki Cross, I'm sure. And I'm curious to hear what Gacy and Loomis have to say. But how can you not feel for these people?
I mean, they're also not utilizing them in a way to put them in as the bad guys right now. They're going up against Chad Gable, who they've made the guy you want to punch in the face. So I feel like this is the right spot to garner that sympathy. And then, you know what? Later, kick all of us in the teeth like that, do something so dastardly that we're all going to really be conflicted. The best part of wrestling is when you start feeling the emotion of it and to feel, this is a real life situation that, with the passing of Wyndham Rotunda and using some of the real feelings that they have about it is telling such a beautiful story and a sympathetic story. You want to feel for this. And because they were talked about for so long, like you said, even before Wyndham passed away, that they were all going to come up and band back together. Now it's there. And so fans are excited about it because they feel like it's delivering a promise that was given to them. And so I think it's great.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see where they're all going to take this. And, I hope they have an end point for this that is going to make sense. That's the only thing I get worried about, is that it's going to end up meandering somewhere and just kind of peter out. So I hope that they have a planned place to finish this out in a couple of years, where the ode to Wyndham Rotunda is going to have a crescendo and you're going to feel it. And it's not something that's just going to taper off into nothing. So, but I really felt like, man, I was watching Eric and I just wanted to make sure that we talked about it, because it just tore me up a little bit inside, just knowing how close he was to those two. And, but this is going to be entertaining. But I have an idea for the sixth person.
Okay.
You know why they're going after Chad Gable? They want Otis. They want Otis. I don't think it's going to happen, but wouldn't that be intriguing if Otis ended up being the sixth person, abused and left behind by Mandy Rose, and then beat up by Chad Gable, the man that it was his coach and his friend, and shunned by everybody? Wouldn't that be interesting?
I could imagine that, but you're right. I don't think they're going to go in that direction, but that gives you something to think about.
Turn Otis to the dark side. It would kill one of my best friends, Chad Holloway, who's from Wisconsin. He loves Otis, but it would be an interesting turn for him. Just throwing it out there. Just a thought, WWE creative. Not that they don't have this thing planned out months ahead of time, but still.
Right.
Just saying. SummerSlam coming up, Phil, 2 weeks away. I can't believe it. And we had two more matches added to this card. One we actually both of them we knew were coming, but Mommy's back. She's mad, but Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, along with Dominic Mysterio, have done an unbelievable job building this thing up. How much fun is this Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley match going to be at SummerSlam? I can't wait.
It would only be more fun if they had Dominic Mysterio in a shark cage over the ring.
Yes.
I'm just saying. Are we not there yet?
I don't know, but they've been doing some neat little things, paying homage to the Eddie Guerrero China thing, which, is just cool. I love when they slide those little things in there that, pay respect to the past. But Liv and Rhea have done such a great job. I mean, Liv has really won me over. I was always kind of, on Liv Morgan. This time she's got it right. And this match is going to have this crowd in Cleveland going nuts. And I don't know what Dominic's going to do, but I would give him a suggestion. Run and hide, Dominic. Run
call.
And hide. Maybe find a third girlfriend.
Ooh, no. Don't. That's a little overcomplicating.
He could date Jade Cargill. He'd be safe. Just throwing it out there.
I'll put my hands up and walk away on that one.
There you go. There you go. Logan Paul's going to take on LA Knight for the U.S. title. And all I'm going to say is LA Knight better win this match. He better win this match, because if LA Knight does not win this match, he's going to be headed for a little bit of mid-card obscurity. I hate to say it. Huge match for LA Knight coming up at SummerSlam. Do you think that this is the time for LA to finally get this belt?
It would be nice. I have this weird sense of they might not do that, because this has just been my feeling all along. LA Knight is one of those guys that he got over, and WWE responded and kind of like, okay, we're going to give you some more opportunities. But guess what? You're not our guy. You're not the one that we picked and selected to be the guy. So we're going to give you some rewards and sprinkles here and there, but you're not going to be the champion. And that's just how I feel they're playing it off a little bit. So unfortunately, I feel like, he is gonna. I won't say go into really like mid-card obscurity, but I feel like they're trying to ride him on the same story that they did with Daniel Bryan, right? But he doesn't really have that same voice in that same way. He can't talk about being kept down by the man, and you feel it because you're the underrepresented hero. You're not really feeling that with LA Knight. You want LA Knight to be grand. You want him to be the Rock. You want him to be the next guy. But I feel like because he isn't going to be the next guy, they're not putting that energy behind him. So it might not happen.
I think putting him as the U.S. champion would be a pretty good spot for him because I feel like, the chants got going and everything got ramped up, after they ditched the whole stupid Maximum Male Models thing. But I just feel like there's something that's just a little bit missing with him. And I think it's just that championship pedigree in WWE. They put him up against Roman a little too early, and I think it took the shine off him. That's what I was worried about when they made that match back at Crown Jewel a while back. So I think they need to give him a chance to, putting the U.S. title on him, letting him roll with that for a little bit would probably be a good move. Logan can do other things. He's busier than anybody in WWE. So, he can send me some more Prime, come over to the station, give me a hydration station. I'll drink it all day long like I always do. And
there you go.
Everybody will be happy. And by the way, in the chat box, David Rich says, what's up? What's up to you? And hey to the Bionic Scoop. Very happy to have you guys in the chat box. And if you want to have any comments on anything that we have to say, we would love to hear from you. Give us your thoughts on what's going on. We were talking the first hour about Slammiversary. Have any thoughts on that? What's coming up SummerSlam and anything else we throw out? Feel free to hit us with it. We'd love to see it. Justin Donahue in the chat box saying, hello, gentlemen. Well, it's loosely said, but thank you. Appreciate it.
We even like the posts, like the fact that you've seen the post about the show is on air right now. Click like, share it. That would be really nice. but clicking like doesn't cost you anything, and we so appreciate it.
Yes, we do. So thank you for hopping in there. So SummerSlam coming up, and still waiting for a bunch of matches. We've only got 5 on the card at this point. But one thing that I'm really curious to hear your thoughts about here, Phil, because the situation with Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest are 2 world champions. Do you feel like Cody and Damian are getting kind of pushed down a little bit? Damian's reign has been completely overshadowed by Punk and McIntyre. I mean, completely, from the second it started until right now, and unfortunately had the missed kick out, which didn't help. But Cody is in a weird place because right now, even though he's in this feud with the Bloodline, everybody's waiting for Roman to come back. What's Roman coming back? What's he going to do? And I almost feel like Cody is suffering because of this. And Roman better get back at SummerSlam and kind of get this sorted out, because I think the champ's getting hurt. This better be a hell of a match coming up at SummerSlam with Solo Sikoa. And I'm even wondering, how does Solo come out on this? Does Roman cost him the match so we get the like a double Bloodline feud and get him away from Cody? But I don't know. I feel like Cody's just been getting lost a little bit in the shuffle too. Do you feel that way?
I do feel that way, and I feel bad for feeling that way. On the Damian Priest side, I've loved Damian Priest since he was on the independents, and when he went up to WWE, I'm like, this is great, and we started getting more and more attention. I'm like, this is great. He cashes in Money in the Bank. This is amazing. And now there's like sort of a ... like I'm waiting for something to load. And I feel bad for that because I know what he can do.
Yeah.
I feel like there's been some odd starts, but you're right. I think part of that is too, was lost in that Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, Seth Rollins deal and that feud. And it was almost like you were paying more attention to that than Damian Priest being the champion. Okay. That's fine. Let that story play out. And, now he's going to be over here with Gunther, who has gotten so much attention himself now that he's coming for this championship. I feel like Damian Priest is the guy they want, but not the champion they need.
That's a good way to put it. And I feel like this reign is going to come to an end for him.
Mm-hmm.
Gunther's going to win somehow, but I think this is going to be the point where the Judgment Day implodes. So I have a feeling something's going to happen with Finn Balor taking him out and costing him the title.
Right.
But and that's going to be the end to a reign for a great wrestler and a great guy who should have been a great champion. And I hope he'll get another shot down the road. But he's going to be blocked by one side, Cody Rhodes, and the whole thing with Roman and the Bloodline and the Rock hanging around. And on the other side, you got to imagine at some point Punk and McIntyre, and they're saying Seth Rollins may end up being a special referee for that match if Punk does get cleared. So he's gonna get shoved down the card, and obviously if Finn does something, they're gonna be fighting for a while. So off you go.
Yeah.
I mean, this is tough.
Well, I said the Bloodline, Judgment Day, is having the problem that a lot of heel teams get in wrestling. This is not a unique WWE problem where, oh gosh, they're such a serious, diabolical team. Oh, now they're the comedy fodder. Now we're laughing at them. Now we're making fun of them. So I feel like the end is nigh for Judgment Day. It's coming. And I feel bad for that. I think it's a great pairing of individuals. But it's always been a little bit too like, when they added Dominic Mysterio, I'm like, this is not the fit. Even though he's involved in the storyline with Rhea, this isn't the right thing. And now like the whole gang is in on making the joke about Dominic. And then, Damian Priest is our champion. It's like, this is a lot for one group to be dealing with when they were supposed to be the maniacal masterminds. And well, now you have the Wyatt Six who've kind of come in and replaced it. Now they're the diabolical team, but they're also the sympathetic team. So they're not the mayhem yet. it's all over the place. But that's also one of the good things about WWE is that anybody at any point can become champion, and you can believe it, that person can be champion because they develop such intricacy inside of some of these storylines.
Yeah, I feel bad for Priest, and once again, and like I said, I think the situation with Cody is going to get a little bit messed up too. But we're waiting for a Viper to strike for that, which I almost wonder if that shouldn't be the WrestleMania match, because I have a feeling that because here's where the Rock getting involved has created a little bit of a mess, because you were screaming Rock Roman is the match. Rock Roman is the end all be all. Everybody wants this match. Okay. So if you give me Rock Roman, where does that leave Cody Rhodes? What does that do with him? So I kind of am almost thinking that maybe they should pull an audible and let it be Cody and Randy at SummerSlam or at WrestleMania, and then do Rock Roman. And, you've got two really good main events, and then whatever you're going to do with have this Punk McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Triorca going crazy. Plus, if Gunther wins the world championship, who's going after Gunther? That's going to be, that's not a bad card. I mean, I'll take that at the top.
I'm curious where they're going to go with it because, again, we also have the advantage of WrestleMania being a 2-day event that you could have Roman and Rock night 1 and Cody and the winner of Rock Roman night 2. Maybe I'm not saying that, who knows what they have planned for that, because there is so much up top right now. I feel like somewhere there in that mix, though, CM Punk wants a chance. So it's sort of like, what if you did Cody versus CM Punk and then The Rock versus Roman for the head of the bloodline? Because I feel like Solo, they've not now built up the bloodline without Roman. Well, now the story is going to be when Roman comes back, who is really the head of the table? And okay, here's Roman again. Oh, wait a minute, but was he really the head of the table the whole time? Here's The Rock. And so I think that might still be the match you'll get at Mania, with or without the championship.
Yeah, this is this SummerSlam, and that's why this Cody and Solo match and how this turns out is going to be a fascinating time to see where, if Roman shows up, which I think he's going to. I don't think they can hold him back anymore, but you never know. They might, but it is the biggest party of the summer. I can't imagine Roman Reigns is going to miss it. He likes a good drink, so I think he'll be there. But this could be an unbelievable run here at SummerSlam with all these titles. And if Punk gets cleared, and they're saying that he's about a week away. Oh, so we might finally get that Punk McIntyre match, and all hell's going to break loose there. So SummerSlam shaping up to be a lot of fun. And I see Justin Donnie in the chat box said, I'm more hyped for Priest and Gunther. Man, I would be too if it wasn't for all this surrounding it. But because I love Gunther so much. I'm down with the big man. So we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. But one thing that we do have to turn out is the lights for a moment and go to a commercial break, because if I don't, I get in trouble. So stick around, everybody. We'll be right back here on the Mark Hoke Show, the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. I want to thank you for joining us from wherever you are around the world. We do appreciate it. Phil Stamper at Trust and Phil. Go give him a follow on X right now, because if not, you are a loser and will perennially not be a happy person. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back.
PSA.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
This is Ken Goodrich of Gettle. When I was a boy holding the flashlight for my dad, my job was to find every missing screw the previous repair guys left out and replace it with a brand new one. Those missing screws could cause your system to die long before its time. Gettle techs are perfectionists. We make your system as tight and quiet as the day it left the factory by replacing missing screws with beautiful red ones. For all your HVAC and plumbing needs, visit us online at Gettle.com. GOETTL.
License number 0079414, 0079415.
Keep it twisted all year long with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Twisted Tea is real iced tea that packs a punch with 5% alcohol. Tastes great at the beach, the mountains, or even in your backyard. Look for the bright yellow Twisted Tea cans. Twisted Tea Blue Mountain, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence dyne test under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
They say health is wealth, and I could not agree more. That's why if you or somebody in your life is living with everyday aches and pains, I want to tell you about Relief Factor. And I'm telling you, I can feel the difference. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. Naturally. Now that's a big deal. Developed by doctors. Relief Factor's unique formula of ingredients all work together to help support your body's response to inflammation. Instead of masking pain for a couple of hours, Relief Factor actually helps reduce or even eliminate your pain for good. Whether it's neck, back, joint, or muscle pain, if you're looking to feel better, live better, give Relief Factor a try. In 3 weeks, you will know if it's working because you'll feel it. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Save on your first order. Don't let pain tell you how to live. Fight back naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt? Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
Just call 800-841-0908. 800-841-0908.
For 30 years, the LGBTQ Center of Nevada has been a safe and welcoming place to celebrate and serve the entire community. The center advocates for the empowerment and safety of everyone. It provides wellness services for better mental, physical, and holistic health. And the center connects people to the community. Learn more at thecenterlv.org. This message is sponsored by a grant through the Sands Corporation, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, let's get back to it as we continue hour number 2 of the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment, the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 1015 FM, streaming on the Odyssey app. And of course, we are out there on YouTube, Facebook, and X. And of course, Phil Stamper along for the ride. Well, what's going on in PW Revolver right now, my friend? Crazy times for your organization, having a blast out there on the circuit.
I mean, it is. It's a lot of fun. We have a doubleheader that's coming up on August 24th out in Dayton, Ohio. So 2 events, one in the afternoon, more of a wrestle pit style, a little bit more of the UWFI style kind of fight that you're going to see, and then an evening event. And then we return to Iowa in September on the 21st. And then October 12th, we're back in Grand Prairie, Texas. So a lot of stuff is coming up for Revolver. We're going to also be part of a large convergence event of a whole bunch of different promotions in Cleveland on SummerSlam weekend. So pay attention to a lot of the things that are happening. You can follow Revolver online at PW Revolver.
When are you coming here, Phil? When?
I don't know. I've been thinking about it. I mean, because, not like anything big is coming to or happening in Vegas anytime soon.
All right, so it's WrestleMania. I want Revolver out here sooner though.
I mean, maybe we can figure out something. How about that? We come up with a plan.
Okay,
we'll just make everybody else follow the plan.
There you go. I'm down with that. Take charge. That's what we do. You are the president of wrestling, so put the stamp on it, man.
There you go.
That's how it works. Well, we had a very interesting happening on the political front this week, and got some, shall we say, up and down reaction on social media as
let's say that
the former WWE WWF champion Hulk Hogan spoke at the Republican National Committee or convention this week. I watched the speech and had to say the Hulkster had him going.
Right.
He had everybody pumped up. There wasn't any doubt about that. And I was, pumping my fist with the Hulkster, man. He's ripping the shirt off, having a great time, inspired some funny memes. I saw a great one, by the way, where someone had changed the Trump Vance shirt to a Biden Harris shirt and put the NWO beard stubble on him. It was hilarious. It's like, whose side is he really on? So
you're giving away what's going to happen at the Democratic National Convention.
that was kind of funny, but it was, the RNC convention was very different this year. They kind of turned it up a little bit and had a little fun this year instead of being all stuck up and stodgy like it normally is. But I think it raised a bigger question to me. And I'm somebody who was a huge fan of Hulk Hogan when I was a kid. And, and he was actually the one that really inspired me. I know I don't look it now, but, I was back then, I was kind of a shy kid that got picked on a lot and was chunky and, just had a lot going on at home too. And Hulk Hogan really was my inspiration to get back into sports, to start working out, and, really changed my life, and of course, became the subject of controversy, made those, had those taped racial comments get out. And, it really shattered a lot of people's thoughts about Hulk Hogan. And no matter what, he's been a controversial figure, from people saying what they've said about him, where he's, kind of put himself over in different situations that have happened in locker rooms and so on. But he recently found Christ and has been trying to get that a positive message out. And I wanted to ask you, and I'm going to be interested to see what the reaction is in the chat box, because he has tried to make amends. Is it time to forgive Hulk Hogan? Is it time to say, you know what, you screwed up, you said some dumb things, he's 70 years old, let it go? Or do we not let it go? And there were some passionate feelings on both sides on social media when he spoke. I mean, either way. So, Phil, I'm curious to hear your thoughts about that, because he's a beloved figure, but a hated figure in the same time in pro wrestling. And I'm just wondering, is it time to just celebrate what he did and let the rest of it slide?
So, the character of Hulk Hogan is what people like. Terry Bollea is not who people like. And that whole blending of the world, and how much more we're out there in social media, and yes, that was captured footage, and it was, to me, yes, it was wrong. He said it, that he said what he said, even though it was a private conversation. I will say, I think WWE has forgiven him. I mean, he's been on 2 or 3 WrestleManias since all this happened. And the question I have, though, is, has he really tried to make amends? Because the time he got brought back into the back in WWE, and he talked to the locker room, he didn't really own the comments. He didn't really take responsibility for them. It was more like, yeah, you need to pay attention. I can't remember the wording, but it felt like more like he was taking responsibility for getting caught on being recorded than he was really taking ownership of what he really said. I feel like there was an interview where he's like, that's not what I really meant. That, I was emotional in the moment. Okay, I get that. I totally understand that. I don't know if he's made amends. That the one part of your whole question, I don't know if he's there. But I think the wrestling community in many ways has. That's not apologizing or forgetting what he said, but I think a lot of the wrestling community has, because WWE has brought him back out a couple of times since then too. So I don't think. Part of me is like, you go either way. I think it's very challenging as an individual to go, here's my political following and here's where I'm going. I think for any public person, that's a very dangerous step to take, because then are you disenfranchising half of the audience that follows you because, oh, you didn't, quote, pick my side. So I think that's more of the rough spot. I agree with you. I thought what he said was very passionate. I thought what he said, you're right, it rallied that crowd up. It got him energized and excited because it was a Hulk Hogan promo. It wasn't Terry Bollea.
Yeah, it was, and I will say on his part, it took a lot of guts to do that, because as you mentioned, it is very difficult for someone who is in the public eye to step out, and it's not something that I recommend for people to do.
Mm-hmm.
When you're an entertainer, there's ways you can do it without going over the line and going crazy with it, but it's a risk. It's a risk of alienating half of your audience, especially the way times are right now. So, it was a bold move on everybody's parts to put him up there, and I was curious to see how everyone was going to react in the wrestling community to it, and and just people in general. And like I said, it was about what I expected. It was about what I expected. Some people were taking pot shots, and some people were absolutely loving every second of it. So,
right.
And I can never condone what he said. I remember when I heard it, and it crushed me. It really did. I don't know if he really feels that way in his heart or not, if that's who he truly is. I've never met the man, but what a slip up. But
I take a little bit, when I think of the man, I don't think of Hulk Hogan. When I think of the man, there's a lot of things that have come out over time that you're like, is this really where you want to be? And I'm not even talking about the locker room, about how he quote protected the name of Hulk Hogan, but like his son goes to jail for almost killing somebody, and the way he talked to his kid about it was sort of very dismissive of the person who got hurt. And it's sort of like, that tells me a little bit more about the character of the person. What he's done in his relationship is his business too, but that's been very public. And remember who he was talking to in that recording too, leads to some questionable behavior about the character of Terry Bollea. Yeah. So I think people who go, I loved Hulk Hogan for what he did, and what it meant to my childhood. Great. That's Hulk Hogan, not Terry. Yeah. Terry is a very different subject.
Yes, he is. So there you go. We wanted to bring it up because it made national news. So Hulk Hogan running wild at the RNC. I don't know if there's somebody to counter that. I'm sure there is, but I don't know if anybody else would have the guts to do it.
The Rock?
No, he already said he's out of this one. He said he is not getting involved, and he caught hell for that too. He made everybody mad on that one. That was, and that was, I thought that was a mistake when he did it too, when he came out for Biden in the last election. That caused him to catch grief from everybody. And then this time around, he didn't hear. He said, I'm not taking sides. And then everybody's mad at him because he didn't take a side. Probably was just best to say, you know what? I'm Dwayne. I'm just going to hang out. That's what I do. So I can jump. I've been jumping on Dwayne's case enough as is over the past couple of months to, how's Hawaii? But anyway, anyway, but I'll tell you what, we're going to take our last break. And when we come back, we've got more fun wrestling news for you. So stick around, having a great time with Phil Stamper here on the Mark Hoke Show at Trust and Phil. Give him a follow right now, or the Boogeyman's going to get you at Halloween. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
This is it. Shop the Lowe's Closeout event to get up to 70% off select major appliances for your home. Plus, get up to 60% off select patio furniture and accessories for your outdoor spaces. So hurry into your local store today because these deals are too good to last. Shop them now before they're gone because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/7 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
As you know, summertime is here. And for most people, that means more activities, more golf, more biking, more of whatever you love to do. But if you're dealing with minor aches and pains, your more could become less. This is why I'm here to tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. You see, instead of masking your pain, Relief Factor's formula is designed to help reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free, and it's been a game changer for so many people. So let's get after it this summer. Let's feel good. Let's do more of the things that we love to do. Don't let pain keep you down. Give Relief Factor a try and save on your first order. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
In Nevada, anything that goes into the storm drain goes directly to our local waterways, which can pollute Nevada's lakes and rivers. Nevada is the driest state in the nation, and we must work together to preserve our limited water resources for future generations of Nevadans. Here's some waterway wisdom so you can help do your part this summer. Wash your vehicle at a car wash or on grass or gravel. Avoid sprinkler runoff. Scoop your dog's poop, bag it, and discard it. Collect grass clippings and put them in the trash. And secure and pack out trash when recreating. Keep contaminants out of our storm drains. Use waterway wisdom. And remember, only rain should go into the storm drain. Join us in preserving Nevada's waters for future generations by visiting lovenvwaters.com and following us on social media. This message sponsored by the Nevada Department of Transportation, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
All right, let's do this one more time. The best pro wrestling news and entertainment on the planet. Thanks for being with us on the Mark Hoke Show. Very happy to have you joining us. And yes, I'm tired. It's been a long week. I would appreciate if nobody else gets shot or we have no conventions. Can we all avoid that for just a while? That'd be great. Thanks. Phil Stamper along with us. How you doing, Phil?
Well, it was funny as you were saying that because I whapped my elbow really good on the corner of my desk. So I'm holding my arm. And I just realized I was like, nobody can see me because we're on the radio unless you're watching on YouTube.
Right.
So there was a face I just made there.
I thought you were laughing at me.
There, yes, entirely.
There you go. You had an excuse. I stumbled coming out of the open there. So
all good.
All good.
So speaking of stumbling really quick, it looks like Sky Blue is injured.
Yeah.
I missed some of the talk about from yesterday. But apparently this morning, about 30 minutes ago, Kyle Fletcher posted on his Twitter account. We got her home. She's good, but her leg is wrapped in a cast. So,
oh wow, that was pretty bad last night. She got injured in her match on Collision last night against Hikaru Shida. They actually had to stop the match, so we may have a broken leg or something along that line. Yikes!
Yeah.
So want to wish all the best to Sky Blue. And apparently another member of the AEW family is down as Dalton Castle, one of my favorites. I love Dalton. Is apparently going to be out for the rest of the year, according to Tony Khan. So we lose Dalton Castle. And man, I would love seeing the Peacock it all in, but I never get what I want. It's so sad. But I want to wish all the best to Dalton Castle, one of my personal favorites. But a couple of guys are going to be flying around for sure, and it sounds like they're going to be in WWE, the Motor City Machine Guns. It only took 20 years, but apparently they are headed to WWE. And Phil, I know you have a lot of experience with these guys, and of course have been staples of TNA forever. But now they are finally stepping onto the WWE stage. What do you think, Phil? At least that's the rumor.
Right, and that's just it. It's a rumor. Because remember, 2-3 months ago, it was that they were going to AEW, and that was verified and all confirmed. So now I'm in the air. I don't know where they're going for sure, because they're not showing up either place right now. I believe it was West Coast Pro was where Alex Shelley was last night. I think I saw. So it's sort of like, well, where are they going? Have they really been offered anything? And I think they're doing the right thing by not saying anything. Let the world conjecture. Let the world, ask questions. Let the world be interested in what their next step is. So whatever it is, people are paying that much more attention.
I'll be happy for them either way. I mean, obviously we have seen them on AEW TV a little bit, but I think it would be great to have them get a sustained run in one of the two companies. But WWE would be very intriguing for them because, I mean, if you think about even 5 or 6 years ago, they are not a WWE style tag team. Vince would never have signed those guys. But with Triple H in charge, they are an intriguing mix to the WWE tag team scene if they do come in. And obviously they've both proven that they are great singles wrestlers as well. So I think you would be pleasantly surprised to see the Motor City Machine Guns if they got in a WWE ring. What do you think? What do you think of the match? I mean, is it a good fit?
I do think. I mean, I've seen. I would say in the last year, I've seen a little bit more of Alex Shelley than I have Chris Sabin. But watching Alex Shelley, he can adjust to the situation. He is a tremendous wrestler. He's an extremely knowledgeable wrestler. To watch him interact with other people to show them how to improve their game and how they can step up and coach other people too. And these are people with, like you said, 20 years of experience at TNA means that they have 20 years of television experience. So they can adjust a lot easier to being on a production than, the next guy over who hasn't had that opportunity to be on television yet. And so I think it could be an easy adjustment. I think you're in an age now where, yes, I think they would be a perfect fit for what's happening in the WWE.
Yeah, especially with most of the tag teams in WWE are kind of makeshift teams. Having those two guys in there, I think, would be a lot of fun to truly showcase some outstanding tag team wrestling, because those guys are just ridiculously good. So I would love to see them in WWE. I feel like going to AEW for them, it would be a lot of the same matches we've seen. So it would be a unique challenge for Alex and Chris to go over to WWE and get in that mix. I would be thrilled to see him make that jump. A couple of guys who are actually, I don't know if you heard this was just coming over, that the Hardys apparently have said they want to challenge for the NXT Tag Team Championships. They've never won them, and they were talking to Bill Apter on one of his shows, and they want a shot at the NXT tag titles. Would WWE have the guts to have the Hardys come over and possibly continue the Expedition of Gold in NXT? What do you think?
I'm interested in that. I'm intrigued in that. I would love to see that. I mean, again, they're two guys who've been in the WWE system for a long time. They know how that works over there. They're friends with a lot of people over there. I mean, well, I'll just showcase something that they did. They went to AEW, and in that whole run of Impact versus AEW, they were making fun of Impact and it wasn't really like a hidden that they had some didn't care for where Impact was at the time. And now different administration. Now they're over in TNA. They're doing what they're doing over there. Why not go back to NXT while they're doing this crossover thing? I don't think there's ill will per se. at the WWE with the Hardys. So why not? Let's do it.
It's amazing how things get forgiven very quickly in professional wrestling, and all the problems that somebody's had just get forgotten.
Yeah.
It's just, it all disappears. So I think that would be entertaining. I would enjoy seeing the Hardys popping up in NXT. I kind of feel like they've been pushing it for a long, long time and hanging on, but I would get a kick out of that.
Yeah.
Now, whether I put the belts on them or not, a little bit of a different story, but they've already been kind of messing around. Oh God, could you imagine if they won the Impact titles and the TNA titles and the NXT titles and pulled that Expedition of Gold thing again? Oh God.
I'm excited by that. I think that would be really cool if they could do it.
Yeah. I mean, people love the guys, so we'll check that out. Maybe we'll get some more Hardy action on NXT. There was another interesting situation that happened this week on SmackDown, and I hate when they do this. I hate it so much. Tiffany Stratton, who of course won the Money in the Bank case, loses to Michin thanks to a Bailey distraction. Please, Phil, for the love of God, tell me that they're not going to do this thing where they gave somebody a Money in the Bank case and they're going to lose and lose and lose. It's Tiffany Stratton, someone you've been building up and everybody thinks she's amazing. God, they're not going to put her on a losing streak, are they, Phil?
Well, that I think they oversold a little bit too much, that pretty much every time you cash in a Money in the Bank, you win. And so, I think they're trying to directly go, we're not going to do that. We're going to show you something different. I feel like that's why they did Drew McIntyre so fast. Was we don't want him to hold this for a year where we're, listing in the unknown of when is he going to cash it in, and then feeling like we have to do it. And now you have a year without a male Money in the Bank holder. So I think, you might see this loss and loss. And we've seen this before, loss and loss and loss and loss. And then finally they win. They lose until they win. I don't like it, but I feel like it's probably something you're going to see.
No, not with her. That would drive me nuts.
Yeah.
That would drive me nuts, especially after you've buried people like Naomi and so on along the road here to get her hyped up. Oh, that would be just a terrible, terrible decision. But you know what? I'm not the booker, so it is what it is. By the way, we got mentioned too, we also have new trios champions in AEW as the Patriarchy. Christian and Kill Switch and Nick Wayne have the new trios champions. I don't know how that all came about. It was very weird, but yeah, so new trios champs in AEW. So even though Christian can't stand me, congratulations to Christian Cage and the boys as they have the new AEW trios champions. Phil, tell us what you've got going on as we get ready to wrap up the show. What's new with you, and what are we working on right now?
Do you see this crutch on the wall behind me? That's what I'm doing. So I'm doing a lot of rehab. But August 3rd, Three Legacies Wrestling, ran by Ricardo Rodriguez, will be there. August 10th is MCW in Joppa, Maryland. August 17th is Honorary Wrestling Federation in Pennsylvania. And then the 24th is Wrestling Revolver in Dayton, Ohio.
Wow. That's a lot of stuff. How are you getting around, man?
I can try. I can get there fine. Once I get there, standing up is the problem.
So have you taken my suggestion and figure out a way to hit somebody with that crutch yet?
Oh, I already have plans to wrap it in barbed wire, knock the crap out of somebody.
Oh, who's that?
I don't know. You have to wait and see.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Of course, if you didn't know, Phil had knee surgery just a couple of weeks ago. So he is going crazy at home trying to recover, but sounds like you're going to be back out on the road soon. So we're very excited that to get the president of wrestling back in action. Well, actually, I think some people are excited. Some people maybe not so much, but
yeah. There's not a lot of people there's some people who have problems when they see me coming their way.
Yeah, it's all good. Well, we're always happy to see you coming our way on the Mark Hoke Show. And want to thank you for joining us today. I appreciate you taking the time out, Phil. Follow him at Trust in Phil. And we're going to be wrapping it up here. I want to thank everybody who joined us. And once again, take some time out and give us some likes and follows, subscribes on our social media at Mark Hoke Show on X. That's the obviously the X account. And of course on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show, markhokeshow.com. Podcasts are available at markhokeshow.podbean.com as well. We're everywhere, kids, but just, give us a few clicks, give us a few subscriptions. We would certainly appreciate it. Tell your friends, neighbors, even your pets, anybody, because they'll enjoy our great show talking about pro wrestling here every week on KDAWN 101.5 FM. So on behalf of Phil Stamper, thanks for joining us, everybody. We will see you next week as we get ready for SummerSlam coming up 2 weeks away. Should be a blast. We'll see you next time on The Mark Hoke Show. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created